It's hovering, and it's not an aircraft. Those were the last known words of Frederick Valentich. The 20-year-old pilot vanished over the Bass Strait between mainland Australia and Tasmania on a clear October evening in 1978. No distress signal, no wreckage, no body, just a recorded conversation with air traffic control, and a silence that's never been broken. Frederick Valentich had big dreams. He wasn't a commercial pilot, at least not yet, but he was working toward it. On October 21, 1978, he rented a light aircraft, a Cessna 182L, for a solo flight from Moorabbin Airport in Victoria to King Island, off the southern coast of Australia. It was supposed to be routine. The skies were calm. His radio was working. He had enough fuel for the round trip. But Frederick would never make it to King Island. Instead, what followed was one of the most baffling disappearances in Australian aviation history. At 7:06 p.m., about 45 minutes into his flight, Valentich radioed Melbourne Air Traffic Control. He reported that a large aircraft with 4 bright lights was approaching him at high speed, too fast, he said, to be a normal plane. The air traffic controller couldn't see anything on radar. Then Frederick added something strange. "It's not an aircraft," he said. He described it as shiny, metallic, and moving erratically. He claimed it hovered above him, that it vanished, then reappeared, that it orbited him, playing some kind of game, and then static. For the next 6 minutes, the radio transmission continued on and off. Valentich sounded increasingly anxious. He said his engine was rough-cutting, that he might be losing control. His final words, "It's hovering, and it's not an aircraft." Then came the sound of a metallic scraping or distortion, and nothing more. A massive search was launched over the Bass Strait. Aircraft, ships, and divers combed the area for days. They found nothing. No crash site, no oil slick, no debris, not even a scrap of the plane. Frederick was gone. Authorities investigated every angle. They considered engine failure, disorientation, even the possibility that he faked his death and fled. But no evidence supported any theory. There were no signs of mechanical issues before the flight, no financial motive, no history of instability. He was a quiet, serious young man with a passion for flying and a keen interest in UFOs. Some say that interest became obsession. Others say it became a calling. Officially, the case remains unsolved. Some believe Valentich became disoriented, confused by reflections from the setting sun, perhaps mistaking a distant star for another aircraft. But that theory doesn't explain the last 6 minutes of his calm, detailed, escalating report. Others claim it was a prank gone wrong, or that he flew upside down and saw his own plane's lights reflected in the water. But the strangest theory, and the one Valentich himself seemed to believe in his final moments, is the one that's kept this case alive for over 40 years. That he encountered something not of this world. Witnesses reported strange green lights in the sky that same evening. Local farmers and fishermen claimed they saw a cigar-shaped object flying low over the water. None of it could be proven. None of it could be disproven. Was Frederick Valentich the victim of pilot error, or the first man to vanish in full radio contact during an alien encounter? Whatever happened over the Bass Strait that night, one thing is certain. His voice was calm. His words were clear. It's hovering, and it's not an aircraft. And then, nothing. Thank you for listening to The Lantern's Tale. If you enjoyed this true story, join us next time, if you dare.